Well, for more on this, we're joined now live by Devon Cone from Denver in the United States. She is a senior advocate for women and girls at Refugees International. Devon, thank you very much indeed for joining us on the News Hour. The charities are saying that Italy's actions are illegal. What's your view?
Well, it's not necessarily my view. It's the truth, and the reality is that it is against international law. What's happening is both against maritime law, European law, Italian law, and international law. So I wouldn't really say it's my view, but it's certainly the truth, and it's against what is happening is against all sorts of laws, and there's really no excuse for it.
Does a lot of this hinge on how you view the term vulnerable then and the definition of that? Because there could be an argument made that every one of those migrants on board those ships, what with disease and infection traveling around, they're all vulnerable.
Well, definitely. There's certain people that they have taken off and allowed to disembark that have extra vulnerabilities, pregnant women, unaccompanied minors, and that makes sense and is good. But it's true. They could all be considered vulnerable, and they will become vulnerable if they're stuck at sea for so long. Again, maritime law says that when you rescue people in distress at sea, you take them to the closest safe port. And these ports in Italy are just that. The NGOs carrying out these sea rescues are doing exactly what they are supposed to do. They are following the law. They are following the rules of maritime law. It's the Italian government that is not.
Yeah, many migrants who were living in Sicily did fear that this might be the case. They'd be concerned about the negative impact that the election would have on them. The far-right government and Giorgia Meloni, who campaigned on this very issue. She promised to stop the ships arriving. And I suppose their fears have been proved to be correct.
Yeah, indeed. I think the fears that we all have about right-wing governments coming to power and not living up to the international commitments that their countries have committed to is what we are afraid of. And again, they should be allowed to disembark and, in this case, seek asylum. It doesn't say, maritime law and international law and refugee law doesn't say to take them to the nearest country with politicians who are welcoming and committed to live up to their international legal obligations. It doesn't say take them to Germany. It says take them to the safest port and allow them to seek asylum. That is their right, and really Italy needs to live up to that. And the migrants that are already there are right to be concerned.
All that said, Italy is one of the first ports of call for many migrants, whether it's Sicily or Lampedusa. And they've taken, some 85,000 already this year. Sympathy for them. Where would the solution be? Surely, perhaps the rest of Europe needs to offer more help to Italy.
Indeed. Some other countries have agreed to take asylum seekers from these areas of Italy to allow them to seek asylum in their countries. But to date, this year, only 164. So out of that large number that you mentioned, only 164 have been transferred in a voluntary solidarity mechanism. So certainly more needs to be done. But again, we have these international laws like this for this very reason, to avoid this very problem that we're seeing right now, so that situations like this can't happen just because the political winds change. So again, I've said this before, in programs like this, that the problem is that there are not legal, safe, and accessible ways for people fleeing to get to these countries, to get there safely. And then the solidarity within Europe is really not there for asylum seekers that are not from Ukraine, from other places. The solidarity is not there to help countries like Italy, like Greece. So more needs to be done in that regard for sure. But again, these are dangerous routes. No one is taking them because they just want to and for voluntary reasons. They're taking them because they are forced to flee. And more than 1,300 people have gone missing in the central Mediterranean region and this migration route just in 2022. So again, they are at risk, they are vulnerable, and the NGOs that are helping them seek safety and get to land where they have the right to seek asylum are doing exactly what they should be doing.
Devon, we appreciate you coming on the programme once again to give us your analysis. That is Devon Cone there from Refugees International. Thank you.